Welcome to the channel, guys. I get a lot of funny comments on this channel, to be honest. We create a lot of analytical, informative, artistic, and other creative pieces for you guys to consume. However, one of the best parts is the responses and comments you get to these videos. And in this video, I'm actually just gonna go through and read some of the more funny ones and also some of the more serious ones, give my responses, my opinions, reactions, and if you're into this kind of stuff, then yeah, you'll like this video. So let's start off anyway with some of the more recent comments that I have appreciated. I just hope Capcom does not cut out on enemy NPCs the same way they did with Resident Evil 2. Due to low budget issue, I really want to see crows, spiders, brain suckers, gravedigger worm, hunter in its gamma form, mine thrower, Gatling gun, and at least 8 extra costumes for unlock in the new RE3. Now, I'm not particularly sure if it was for budgeting reasons, because Resident Evil 2 actually had a pretty decent budget. From my own knowledge, Resident Evil 7 was actually higher than Resident Evil 2, but you know, they learned a lot of lessons from Resident Evil 2, and they did say that they couldn't get them out in a realistic manner. Now, I don't believe that PR excuse completely, but I don't think it was a budget issue either. If I have my own opinion on this, I would say that they didn't want to delay the game. It probably took too long to scan and properly, you know, size up the enemies, like the moths, for example, and actually make them look nice. Like, they definitely could have. They probably just didn't have enough time to do so is the real reason, rather than just being an impossibility. Now, with Resident Evil 3, I can see with the power station, there's a bunch of goo on it and stuff. There's already implications that they're going to return most of the enemies, if not all of them. I'm sure there's probably going to be like 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 that are cut. That's, you know, to be expected. I don't know if we'll get any new enemies like Resident Evil 2's remake did, but we'll have to wait on that note as well. But I do hope, like this guy says, I do agree with him. I really hope that Resident Evil 3 doesn't cut out enemies, and I hope we get that full experience. If anything, I actually hope they'd add some new enemies and make it like what the fuck's this thing? That'd be cool. Like, what the fuck is this new thing we've never seen before? Imagine that. Now, to the next comment. Avid, Final Fantasy VII Remake releases 1 week after RE3. Correct. While they are vastly different games, correct again, Final Fantasy VII is still a heavy hitter, and asking consumers to dish out $120 within 1 week is asking a lot. I think some people are going to have to make a hard decision between Final Fantasy VII and Resident Evil 3. Now, of course, I added that last bit, but that's the implication. And he is absolutely right. A lot of people, you know, are going to have to make that decision to spend $50 to $120, and they've got food and bills and family and other things, and you know how life is anyway, guys. And a lot of people, you know, are going to be like, I've got to decide on one game or the other, and Final Fantasy VII TBH is going to have way more replayability, especially considering it's an RPG game, so, you know, a JRPG game at that. Resident Evil 3 is going to find it hard to be justified as a purchase, even if you're a long-time fan, because everyone's also a long-time fan of Final Fantasy VII especially. But my only counter-argument to this, which I can really think of, is that Resident Evil 7, Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil 6, they didn't sell most of their units on the PS4. Most of their units were sold combined between the Xbox One as well as the PC. But now we have things like the Switch and things like that as well. And so overwhelmingly, the PlayStation 4 has the least amount of sales. So even if the PlayStation 5 sells more, or the PS4 sold more, or whatever, you know, Resident Evil 3 is definitely going to get more sales on other platforms instead, which is why I think that it's not much of an issue. For example, with myself, I have a PS4, but I'm not going to use it. I don't really use it at all. Like, the last time I used it was when I played Resident Evil 7 in VR, and just for that specifically. Other than that, I'm a PC gamer, so you can obviously assume where I'm going to be buying Resident Evil 3. And because of that, I can't buy Final Fantasy VII on the PC. And until it's on the PC, I'm not going to give in to this exclusivity bullshit, and a lot of other people aren't either. So yeah, I think that it being a PS4 exclusive Final Fantasy VII has damaged its ability to be a competitor to Resident Evil 3 very heavily. Is there really no mercenary mode? I'm just going to keep this short and sweet because I'm also butthurt about this TBH, so no, the writer said there's going to be no mercenary mode, unless they're literally pulling the wool over our eyes, which I very much doubt. They've got resistance. No, mercenary mode's not going to be in the game. I don't think so anyway. Let's get on to the next comment. I don't know, man. Animal Crossing is quite the force to be reckoned with. He fucking got me, boys. He got me. So we're talking in this video about competitor games in April they're going to release that might, take the attention away from Resident Evil 3. Animal Crossing is quite the force to reckon with. He's got us, boys. He got me good. He got me good. I gotta give it to this guy. I really gotta give it to him. Next comment. One thing, hate speedrunners and hate annoying PC mods. Please just don't ruin it with that crap. Okay, first off, PC modding and PC speedrunning, or just speedrunning, sorry, in general, and modding in general, they do not affect you in, any capacity, in any context. The developers do not balance games around speedrunners and modders, of course, and these are completely optional things that you decide you want to invest into. I am so confused at this comment. The thing is that I do speedruns sometimes. I remember doing a Dark Souls speedrun, Resident Evil speedruns. I'm not the best player, I just kind of do it for fun, to be honest, but it's still fun. And then I'm a big modder. I mean, it's actually a large part of this channel, which is why I'm so confused that this guy has actually watched my channel, because I do a lot of modding on Resident Evil on this channel. I even do mod reviews, for Christ's sake. I show out of camera things with mods. I replace enemies with mods. I make myself 10% of the size and the enemy 1,000% their normal size. And we've seen Titan zombies, remember, in my channel because of mods. We saw zombies that were 80 feet tall. This guy needs to, whatever hate or wherever the mods touched him, he needs to get over it. Seriously. I don't know what happened in a speedrun incident with him either. People like this genuinely get under my skin. If something doesn't affect you in a game, especially if it's third party, why the fuck complain about it? That's just actually annoying. Next comment. I'm glad my girl got me the collector's edition. It's her birthday in April, but she knows I'ma be busy. This man has his priorities set absolutely correctly. Same guy, same. Exactly the same feeling. They should always know we're gonna be busy when a Capcom game comes out. The sex, the intimacy, the hugging, the Netflix, the kissing, that can all go fuck itself because I'm going blowing Nemesis up and I'm going to be shooting some zombies. Get out of here, girl. Get out of here. Happy birthday, and Jill Valentine, her clothing, it's okay, but it's not sexy as the original clothing. They screw up with Clara, refuse clothing too, and never says look scary, but when the final forms, what's his body will turn out like. I think this is what happens when you take methamphetamines and then you go and make a YouTube comment. But on a serious note, I actually have a general idea of what he's saying. I just think he doesn't, speak English properly. We've got to have a little bit of comedic value, of course. I just think he's got some broken English, and he is trying his best, to be honest. He might even be using Google Translate, and from my own personal experience, and anyone that's watched the channel, we all know how terrible that is, so this is the kind of comment you get. This is what it looks like to the other side when I Google Translate. When I Google Translate something from English into Japanese or vice versa, this is what the Japanese person feels like I'm saying to them. They're like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? When Lara Croft meets Resident Evil. Alright, this comment actually made me laugh a little bit because I thought the exact same thing. When I saw those first two trailers of Jill just being thrown around, she's being slammed into the environment, she's bloodied up. Every 3 seconds apparently she was being hit into something or having an accident. I just thought, this is so Tomb Raider and Lara Croft. Lara Croft is always being stabbed, impaled, slammed into things, falls, etc. It looks like Jill Valentine has got Lara Croft syndrome. Completely fucking agree. Also, I really appreciate that because in all those instances when you play Lara Croft and she's being slammed around and impaled, etc., really makes you relate with the character in this scenario, You're not just going through it like Drake, where there's nothing really bad happening to you, even though you're in all these set pieces. With Lara Croft, you feel the impact of the actions and also the health hazards, and I think you're going to feel that with Jill a lot more in Resident Evil 3's remake than you ever could in a PlayStation 1 or 2 game, of course. So, yeah, I actually appreciate this part. I think it's going to be pretty interesting to see Jill stumbling around and being thrown around like a little bitch, because she's dealing with BOWs. Jesus Christ, what do you expect? To annihilate them? You should be thrown around like a little bitch. That's what would happen to me. That's what would happen to you. The fact Jill even wins is amazing. I know we wouldn't. I want to see Marvin get injured helping police officers escape like Outbreak, but this time Jill or Carlos assists him. Now this is something I've talked about a lot in my recent videos because this is rewritten as a plot. All the old games, Outbreak, Resident Evil 2's original, Resident Evil 3's original, etc., they've all gone out the window. And some people might be displeased by that, and certain people like myself are kind of thrilled at that because it sets up new plot lines, it sets up new narratives, and we can see characters grow in much more diverse and different ways, especially in the main numbered titles. Now, ever since Resident Evil 2, I've been giving Marvin's voice actor, as well as his writing, the utmost amount of recommendations and praise. He's an absolutely amazing character, to be honest, that deserves all of his own segments. So if he does return in Resident Evil 3, I think it'd be really appreciated because he's quite a central character, more so than anyone thinks, and he was completely rewritten from the original Resident Evil 2, and I hope his plot continues to be expanded in Resident Evil 3. This is something I cannot agree with more than any other comment. Marvin is my fucking hero, guys. I just hope we can that awesome nuclear explosion of Raccoon City in beautiful detail. Of course, he's saying I hope we can see the nuclear explosion and all that CGI glory and aesthetic beauty. And yeah, I agree with this, of course. This is something that I've been looking forward to the most, to be honest. It reminds me of like the Halo Reach advertising, where they were like, you already know how this ends. And that had a very big impact on me, to be honest, as a line of dialogue in a trailer. You already know how this ends, but you're still gonna fight the fight, knowing you're going to die. Now, of course, in Resident Evil 3, you're not gonna die, but the city is going to be annihilated. And I do really hope they keep to the canon lore of just striking the shit out of it with either a nuclear missile or a large amount of cruise missiles or whatever they want to go with. I think it will be a nuclear missile because that's the only one that really makes sense other than airborne chemical weapons or firebombs and things like that. Napalm the hell out of the city, but a nuclear bomb just seems more fitting. And it's going to be interesting to see the end of the game and how Raccoon City just gets absolutely devastated. All of that history, all of that lore, all those citizens, all those connections we have just wiped in a single instance. Anyway, this was just a commentary video. I don't really do content in this kind of style. Anyone that's stuck with the channel will know that. So please do let me know what you think below. Did you appreciate this? Do you want me to just go back to analytical content? I'm not going to throw these out every day, but, would you guys want to see them every so often? Let me know what you guys think. There'll always be a different context. It won't just be reading comments, but this is more comical relief, a little bit of insight into my opinion, how I see things, etc. Let me know what you think again. I just hope you're having a beautiful day. As always, guys, take it easy, and I'm not going to say it, guys. I know you really want to hear it, but you're not hearing it. Bye-bye.